Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Who We Ood, an unofficial Doctor Who watch along podcast. My name is Ben, and I'm here with my co host Cam. Today, we are discussing the trial of a Time Lord, the first
Ooh.
part of it, sometimes known as the mysterious planet.
Let's go right to the cancellation stuff because, like, of course, that's the big thing that happened in between the two serials is
It was
that
a
Doctor Who was
decent
canceled.
chunk of time, right? Like, was it a year or like 15 months? Let's see, 80 September 86 from March 85. So, like, almost 18 months.
Wow,
Probably
just like
12 of that was, like, no production.
yeah, it's kind of similar to what we're dealing with now. And we're recording this on May 3rd, and we have heard nothing about the Christmas special. So we'll see what happens when this gets posted, if there's any difference. But I highly doubt. And there's some fan cup at the moment of just like, no, they already shot it. It's like in secret. And it's like there's also like, no, let's be honest here.
What, do you think they haven't
Like,
even recorded anything?
no, I don't think so. I think, but then again, like it's insane. And like Billie Piper's schedule is so crazy now because she's in Wednesday, and Wednesday season 3 is going to be starting shooting soon. So like I don't know how they're going to shoot Doctor Who, and she's the only cast member that they kind of have confirmed at this point. So it's just like craziness.
It'll be Christmas in the spring.
Like it's good. I have a feeling this Christmas special. It might just be Mel Bush in like a studio. The doctor just cuts the unit, and it's just Mel Bush.
Is she was she in the show recently?
Yes, you didn't know? I'm sorry, man. I spoiled it for you. Yeah, well, we would have had to talk about it later in the season, but yeah, she returned and she got for some reason.
You're not a big Bush head?
Jesus Christ, man. Like, what you will see, like Mel is just like a nothing character, and like the new series did not give
More
her that
nothing than
much.
Perry?
Oh, dude, just you wait.
I mean, they're trying with Perry.
Yeah,
We'll talk about it.
yeah. But yeah, they got canceled. So basically, Michael Grade was like one of the high ups in the BBC. I forget what exactly he was in the BBC. He cancels it because he doesn't like Doctor Who. He doesn't like science fiction, as well as like also talking about some of the behind the scenes stuff. At that time, of course, they're starting this thing called EastEnders Men, which is a big soap opera back in the day. That would have cost a bunch of money to set up all the
Back in the
production stuff
day,
for that.
it's still going on.
But like, you know what? Like that first season's gonna cost a lot of money to like
Oh, because you
get
need
all
to
the
build all the
sets and
sets,
all the
yeah.
cameras and like that it's gonna be cheaper later on, of course, but that first season's gonna be a lot of money for the BBC, a public broadcaster. So of course you have that, as well as you have just the Michael Gray just did not like science fiction, does not like Doctor Who, and thinks Doctor Who is one of those shows that kind of has outlived its day. It's a shell of its former self, which we have just watched season 22. And yeah, he's not kind it's not entirely wrong to say that you watch season 22 is like, this is not the same show. It's kind of outlived itself, right?
I mean, it's been a long time. Like, solitary episodes, but, like, it was, like, last good, like, 10 years ago. Like, really great.
So he cancels it, and the fans react crazy. They are not happy with this. Mainly one of them being Ian Levine, the biggest fan of them all, you might say. Have you seen the famous Ian Levine photo? If you look up Ian Levine, it's the first thing that pops up.
Is it the one with him in the TV?
Yeah, it's him. It's him.
Or is it him surrounded by 4 naked men?
What are you talking about, Ben? What did you look up?
Ian Levine?
That's not showing up on my Google. But yeah, so he has this famous photo of Ian Levine. He takes a hammer he takes a hammer to the TV set because he's so outraged. How dare they cancel his favorite show? So he smashes the TV, and Ian Levine gets all the fans into like this collective, and basically they barrage the BBC and keeps on sending them letters to saying, "Get bring back Doctor Who," because by God, Ben, does Doctor Who need to be on air? And it worked. They got the show back on air, as well as let's not forget Ian Levine creates a song with the help of Hans Zimmer. You know who Hans Zimmer is, I would imagine. He did the Dark Knight score, he did the Lion King score, he did, like, the Dune score, he's, like, the big Hollywood composer.
Oh, yep, yep.
He helped make Doctor Distress.
And we live in a better world now.
And he's in the music video too, and it's wonderful. But, so of course they make the song Doctor Distress, but you have already watched it. My original plan was for you to watch it live on the episode, but you had to watch it one day and ruin it for
It
yourself.
was a few years ago, I barely remember it.
But it's what that first time is a memorable time because you're not expecting what it is. And it's trying to do like that Michael Jackson, like, we are the world, we are the people. But it's so much worse. It is just the main thing is just Doctor in Distress. That's all answer his SOS. How do you feel about Doctor in Distress, Ben?
The very 80s. I don't
Does
hate it.
How dare you?
I feel
How do you
like
not? Do you have ears? Do we have to have an hearing test
I
live
I
on Who Weird?
I do have ears. I feel like if the beat is good, if there was different, better lyrics.
Did you not hear that Nicola Bryant section where she is just awful?
Yeah, she sounds like she's like is chewing gum. It's like just
It's
yeah,
awful. Shout out though to Anthony Ainley bit. Anthony Ainley just steals the show. With his, and of course he has to get his laugh in there. But yeah, it's a piece of history, all right. Um, I'm happy
technically.
that it exists, and I'm shocked that it actually helped bring the show back.
Do you
I would
think it
imagine
did?
there's a well, let's say what if it did exist, Ben? Maybe the show never came back, you know?
Yeah, it's that's the thing. And there was also a radio play slip back that we thought we might talk about, but we're gonna skip it for now
Maybe
in
one
that
day, Ben.
hiatus. Maybe one day.
But yeah, but the show got back, and it's we got Trial of Time Lord. So Ben,
Yes.
let's before we get into the episode, let's talk about there's a new intro, a new song,
Same yeah, same visuals as far as I can tell, but with a new theme.
new theme. What do you think of this theme, Ben?
Not terrible. It's missing some of the energy that the last one had though.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more upbeat, which I like. So Ben, let's get into it. Let's get to Trial of Time Lord, the Mysterious Planet.
Well, I guess first the thing with this season it is like maybe like a key to time. This is one season with an overarching story. Some would call it it's just one story because it's parts 1 to 14, even though it was 4 production blocks. Do you think it's a good idea to return to this kind of format in a way?
No, no,
Maybe
it's
it's
not.
is Flux a similar way where it's like one, 2,
Yes.
3, 4, but they're all different stories?
Yes. But I think Flux works better just because modern TV is more accustomed to that. And like modern TV, it's like, okay, it's different to seeing like, okay, let's do 6 weeks of overall story instead of like, all right, let's tell an overall story between months. Like that's just too long to tell one long story and also have it be separate stories. It's a weird like you're never gonna have satisfying like you're either gonna sacrifice on a full story or you're gonna sacrifice on the overall arc story. But I think that I like. Are we gonna talk about Child Time Mode now? The concept, or what do you want? like, or do you wanna get into the actual, like, the do you wanna do the credits and the synopsis of this episode itself?
I mean, we can reflect on how it went at the end, I suppose, but the initial thoughts.
Yeah, because of course, it's like it's very meta that
Yeah.
it's like, okay, the show is at this point is on trial for being canceled, and it has to basically answer for its crimes of season 22. And so then they just decide to literally put the doctor on trial for his crimes. It's a bit too much to do, like, being meta about the whole scenario. They really should have just said, "All right, let's tell 4 fun stories and interesting stories with the doctor." Instead, like, Eric Sayward gets all moody with it and all grumpy and like, "Oh, you put me on trial, so I'm gonna put the doctor on trial." It feels very much like
Maybe
it feels, like, very bitter about the whole scenario.
one question I did have. So The Mysterious Planet was written by Robert Holmes.
Yes.
Did he also write the trial inserts, or was that like Eric Sayward who did that
That's
throughout
all
the season?
I think that's all Robert Holmes.
Robert Holmes did the trial part of his story as well,
Yeah.
probably with notes so that they're all connecting.
They were friendly. I think Eric Sayward and Robert Holmes got along. And I think he was gonna but also I think the remember, like, I think the plan was for Robert Holmes to write the first episode and then write the last episode. So I think he was gonna be instrumental in the whole arc of Trial of the Time Lord. But what do you think of Trial of the Time Lord as a concept?
Sure, it could work. We'll see.
Nothing more than that?
That's it. Yeah.
Alright, so
Um,
what are we gonna do, Ben? Are we gonna get the credits?
yeah, let's talk
Okay.
about credits.
Let's
I
talk
was
about the
kind
credits.
of starting to do that. So this
Okay.
was written by Robert Holmes, the GOAT.
Yes.
Nicholas Mallet is the director here, who will go on to direct Paradise Towers and The Curse of Fenric. So this is his debut. Produced by John Nathan Turner. Going actually back to Robert Holmes, this is I think he has a contribution to The Ultimate Foe, but this is the last one he wrote before his death? Question mark.
Yeah, he only did episode 1 for The Ultimate Foe.
Yeah. R.I.P. Just because I think this is interesting. Before we go into our general thoughts, the first 45 seconds of this,
Oh, yeah.
the best special effects that
One of the best
in the
special
show.
effects in the show, period. That's not just New Who or Classic Who, or Disney Who, it's like, it is the best special effect Doctor Who has ever done almost. It's in the consideration. So much I don't know if you know this, man. Spoilers for the TV movie advertising. They advertise this in the trailer of the TV movie, they used, clips from Trial of Time with that sequence.
It looks so good. When I first started watching it, we were like, "Oh, did it accidentally turn on new CGI?" But no,
Yeah,
it's a model, and I think a computer controlled camera, but it's
yeah,
still real space station ship something.
yeah. It
And
looks awesome. It's
yeah,
it's really expert model work. It's TV, not TV quality. I was gonna say movie quality. Um, and like it, there's a reason why they used it in the ads of the TV movie a decade later because it still holds up. And guess what? It still holds up today. That could be in New Who, and people would be like, "Okay, that looks better than most stuff in New Who."
the problem is I see this on the wiki. Um, it took a week to make and cost over £8,000,
Eight
making it
thousand pounds well spent.
the most expensive Doctor Who sequence to date. Colin Baker felt that the money could be better spent elsewhere.
Yeah, no shit. It's really bad producing on JT's part because JT's like, okay, I understand his idea because he's like, they've been waiting for this show. Guess what? We're gonna wow them in the first minute. And guess what? He does. But there's also the biggest whiplash of the show, period. Is that model work to Doctor exiting the TARDIS in the BBC studio, and the studio set is like so small because it's just the Doctor TARDIS in like a hallway.
Yeah,
Like,
it raises those expectations. Like, oh, wait a minute. Can they do fancy shit like that now? And they don't. Just the one exception.
And shout out to the score of that moment. The score is really big and bombastic, and you're in for a
Oh,
ride.
yeah, and, like, the tractor beam and the TARDIS spot it's so good. It's so good.
Like, it's rivals a lot of movie stuff. And there's a couple of things in New Who I think that does rival it, with the practical, like, especially
I
early in
hope
New
there's
Who,
a
there's a lot of
couple.
practicals. There's some really great model stuff in early New Who that I'm excited to see what you think of it, but, this one in particular is just oh, it's so good.
It's great. Um, I guess a quick synopsis before we get into our thoughts. The Doctor is summoned before the High Council of Time Lords to stand trial for interfering with the natural course of events, prosecuted by the enigmatic Valyard. The trial begins with a review of the Doctor's visit to the planet Ravalox, where he and Perry encounter the roguish Sabalom Glitz and a tyrannical robot guarding a devastating secret beneath the planet's surface.
Which, not to give too much into spoilers, but, that's definitely a thing in Trial of the Time Lord. I don't think it's too spoilery to say, the this is, the it's like a Christmas Carol type thing, so it's this is the past, next
Yes.
episode is gonna be the present, and then the next episode after that is gonna be the future,
Yeah, yeah.
future of the Sixth Doctor.
Yeah, and we have even here hints to I feel like what is going on in beyond the trial itself. Like we have these really especially highlighted like deletions and censorships of words and phrases like, "Oh, what is that?"
Yeah.
Which I have a guess as to what those words are. So Cam, what did you think of the mysterious planet?
It's a pretty fucking bland episode. It's just a nothing episode. I will have it has some good stuff. I think all the trial stuff is actually really well done. It's really well written. Robert Holmes can write a trial stuff, and as well as I think this is Colin's best performance and best just characterization of the Doctor. This is
Really?
one of those times where you're like, oh, no, this Colin can really play the Doctor really well. And he's very good, especially on the stand. I don't know if you know this. According to Wiki, he was a lawyer at one point, and you can tell that he's really good at defending himself and doing arguments and the trial stuff. um and yeah, I really liked calling this episode, but just it's a very just nothing storyline, and it's just the production design isn't great. The story itself, it's very much similar to the Crotons, and if we're telling a story that's similar to the Crotons, that's not a good sign, Robert Holmes. What did you think of it?
I thought the Doctor was good. I think I mean, we have some great Robert Holmes dialogue here,
Yeah.
but the actual concept of the story is lackluster. I found, if to me, Perry to be the most strikingly different, I would say.
Well, appearance wise, she's actually dressed like an adult this episode.
I mean, yeah, she is buttoned up. She's got like long hair, which I think looks good on her.
Yes.
Not to objectify her anymore,
Yes.
but
Objectifying Perry, how dare you?
um, I get the like it feels like Revelation of the Daleks, and now that she's been traveling with the Doctor for like a significant chunk of time has
Yeah.
passed, and she's way more mature,
Big
way
Finish would
less
hope so.
Doctor,
Yeah.
and more like, yeah, I'm gonna help you out. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And I thought the two of them, the scene where they realize that this is Earth, not Ravalox, was well done on both of their parts. Where she's feeling sad, and the doctor's like, "Well, nothing can last forever."
Yes. Um, I will also say that I think this episode overall, the tone wise, it gets the tone of Doctor Who way more than in season 22. This is much more of what Doctor Who should be. It's not as dark, it's not as it's not as dark and not as gross as a lot of season 22 stories. This one is just much more your average Doctor Who story, for better and worse. At least with season 22, there was a couple episodes here and there that you're like, "This is different. This is not different. This is like I said previously, um, Kitty,
Doctor goes to a planet,
Kitty, Kitty, you're stepping on my keys on the
frees some
keyboard."
people that are being subjugated, and calls it a day.
Like I said earlier, it's like I could very much easily see like even Patrick Troughton in this episode, and that's not a good sign. So join us next week.
There's more to talk about than that. We have some callbacks.
Yes.
5 rounds rapid cam.
Mm.
Can you believe it?
No, I cannot.
And then another Colin wakes up and he thinks he's John Pertwee for a minute. I would say, I think the first part is the best one. I think when there's an
Yeah.
interesting mystery, what is this planet? Who are these 2 guys? Sabalon Glitz and his friend. And then once we get underground and we see the immortal the robot, it's not a good looking
Yeah.
robot.
No, and it's not a good performance robot. The Immortal Robot just sucks. It's plain and simple. I think I prefer talking about the Crotons again. I think I prefer the Crotons over this Immortal Robot.
Yeah, this feels like what are the season 17 big head guys?
Oh, the Nymans?
Yeah.
No, not the Nyman. Is it the Nymans?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It feels like that kind of level. Just like a big chunky robot for no reason. I'd rather it be like the robot.
Yeah. It doesn't have a good face to it as well. I think that's something important for like a performance is
Yeah,
to
and
give
you can't
that type of
really
face.
anthropomorphize it because it's just
No.
like a big kind of crescent.
Like you did bad when you can't make a good toy out of it, and you can't make a good toy out of this robot.
The only interesting part of it is like the 3 on its chest.
Yeah.
But what do you think of Sabalom Glitz?
See, I think this episode so far, I'm not a big fan of him. I haven't seen Trial of the Time Lord before this at all, any of the bots. Um I wasn't a big fan of him as a character. I was pretty much not
You
thrilled
don't
about
find
his
him a
performance in this.
dashing rogue?
No. But I don't like rogues in general. That's not like my favorite character type.
Yeah, he's fine. I
Yeah.
think he comes back once or twice later.
No, yeah,
Um,
he's a recurring thing this like Trial of the Time Lord. So we're gonna see more of him.
what else is there to say?
I don't know. That's the problem with the story is that I think it's just a pretty bland and forgettable story. It's like,
Yeah.
ooh, it's one of those shock reveals that's like, ooh, it's Earth. It's like I don't care. I don't care. A lot of people making online like I suppose they're kind of letterbox. A lot of people make jokes that it's kind of like Orphan 52. Sorry, Orphan 55. It's a Orphan 52 or 55. Let me just double check her. Yeah, it's Orphan 55. This is the Jody episode. That's awful. People making jokes that Chris Chibnall was making fun of this one, and then he goes on to make Orphan 55, which is just this but worse. But I don't know. I think they're pretty much on par with just how bad they are.
What are your initial impressions of the Valeyard in the
Michael
trial
Daxton
bits?
is very good actor. I would say that. I got that name correct, right?
Michael Jaston?
Jaston. Sorry, yeah. Michael Jaston is a very good performer. He has presence to his role, and definitely for that role, you need presence and you need to be able to be like, okay, he can hold a scene.
Yeah, I think he does a good job. And the Inquisitor?
Yeah,
Any
there's nothing really else to say about because she just plays the role of just like,
judge?
I have to be the judge and just, there's nothing much to say. Well, how do you make this story better? Because I like even though I don't really like Trial of the Time Lord as a concept, I like the concept of the previous story type thing. The Doctor has to relive one of his events on this trial. He has to defend himself. That's a good story. I just don't think that the actual story itself, it's just like it's not one of those ones where like the Doctor has to. I feel like to make that type of story really work well, it needs to be a story where the Doctor really has to.
Like a big, big moral dilemma.
Yeah, he has to have a big moral dilemma and maybe have the consequences of time itself, like something like Genesis of the Daleks, where he has to like, do I have the right to kill the Daleks? It needs to be something that big where it's like, does he have the right to either blow up this planet or save this planet, even though he knows the planet's gonna die anyways, or something like that. That's like something that's gonna change time itself. That's showcases that he's a rogue time lord. And that we could follow him along and be like, no, that's the Doctor. He's just trying to help people. But in reality, he's fucked with time, and that's not good time, I'd say.
Yeah, it would be interesting if it was also kind of posing the question to us, like, is he like, there's never a question like, yeah, is the doctor doing the right thing here? Like, he's here. Yes, he obviously should n- prevent these people from blowing up. Like, that's not a
Yeah.
question. And the Valeyard's whole argument is, well, maybe that wouldn't have happened if the doctor wasn't there to begin with. Instead of like, it should be more like, see, it needs to be more connected, like big moral dilemma that like does he have the right?
No, it should be something similar to like the Doctor has to stay like a science fiction version of like Pompeii, and he has to save some people from Pompeii, and it's just like, well, like,
Or like
should
there's
he?
a butterfly effect somewhere.
Yeah. And like kids, like, then yeah, then they can talk about that in the trial. Like, but you did this, so then because of this, then all these things, terrible things happen. Do you not see your ways as being wrong, Doctor? You
Yeah,
know, I always think about what's you doing in the moment, but you never think of your consequences of what how when you leave the TARDIS, you never think of the consequences. Something like that could be interesting, but it doesn't play with that concept. It just is like, all right, we're gonna do the trial, and then we're just gonna do a very average episode of Doctor Who.
yeah. Maybe the average adventure is really very sinister in what's happening. But yeah, it needs to, the prosecution needs to buff its case up a little bit, I think.
Yeah,
And then in terms of the mysterious planet itself, something, if you were to keep that, there's some interesting ideas of like, oh, this tribe of the free, and we gotta go out into the unknown. Maybe if it was a guy and not a robot or something,
yeah. The robot really kills a lot of the story.
having a stronger villain.
Even someone like the pirate from Pirate Planet guy, it's
He's
give me a
memorable.
villain like that. Like, instead of this fucking robot, that's just it's just unmemorable.
Yeah. Best special effects, first 45 seconds. Worst special effect
The first 45 seconds, of course, it's the worst thing in the whole show. No,
is the mortal. The worst is the worst
yeah.
effect.
Yeah, no shit. It's the probably the out of everything, it's probably the most obvious best and worst special effect.
Yes. Um,
I also I wanna give a shout out, Ben, before we wrap things up. I wanna give a shout out. Colin grew his hair out. I liked a little bit more hair with Colin Baker this episode,
yeah.
you know? And he has a new waistcoat. I honestly Let's talk about this. I think honestly it was a bad idea doing what they did. I think they should have changed the costume. If they're gonna come back, they should have just said, we understand we failed. The costume was a mistake. Where they should have just gave him a normal costume, but instead they doubled down and still let him be in that fucking outfit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tweak. I thought it's barely even worth talking about. I thought like it's a new like um I don't know what you even call it. New cravat, and he
Yeah.
has a new watch chain.
I guess J&T's probably scenario is just like, well, the coat costs too much money, so we have to use the coat, you know?
That's it.
I would imagine the coat probably cost thousands of dollars or thousands of pounds at that time. Like, it's not gonna be a cheap thing.
Going back really quick to how to improve. Do
Yeah.
you think the pacing is hurt by cutting back and forth like, you know, 2 or 3 times an episode back to the trial room and then back to the planet?
I disagree because I think that's more excited. I am more excited when we get to the trial bits than we actually get to the actual story. It helps the story, if anything.
It doesn't disrupt the flow.
No, because there's no flow to the story because it's just boring.
What if it was planet was really good? Would the trial hurt?
No, because in that respect, you should be, like, on your edge of your seat, and the trial stops, and you're like, "Ah, we got to the trial," and then the trial then you have excitement at the trial, and then we cut back, and then it's exciting, like, it should be like this back and forth pull, it should be that should be exciting.
Yeah.
It should it's not I don't think that's an issue.
Going to cliffhangers, it is interesting. Some of these are in the past and some are in the trial, which
Yeah.
is interesting conceptually, perhaps?
Yeah. So give us the cliffhangers, Ben.
The first one is in the trial, um, which the Valyard says, like, this is not an inquiry, this is a trial, and if the doctor is guilty, he will be executed. And then two, Dr. Perry and company find themselves caught between the tribe and the robot, and Colin says, "I really think this could be the end." But we know he's fine because he's in the
Yes.
future. Three, the Doctor and Perry encounter Murdine, who raises his crossbow to fire.
Ooh.
And then, like, four, when the Valyard is finished with the prosecution, he says that the court will demand your life. Like a exclamation mark to this story. Like, just you wait, Doctor. So what's the best one? One,
Probably one.
raising the stakes of the season. So then, Cam, how would you rate this story?
I'm just gonna go, is this better than The Two Doctors? I think I prefer The Two Doctors over this, just slightly. So I'm gonna go a 5.8. It's not great. It has a good first pot, like you said. I enjoyed the first pot, but the rest of the pots are just I thought they were brutal. Like I really thought they were brutal. Like it just I did not enjoy them.
There are moments I think this is a seven, and there are moments where I think this is a five. So I'm going to go for a solid six for an average rating of 5.9. Uh, and in the polls, of course, Doctor Who magazine, um, it treats the entire The Trial of a Time Lord, because it's part 1 through part 14, as one story. So we can just say this every single time that it's number 4 of 8. And that was the same every time it was pulled. 2023, 2014, 2009, 1998. If we want to find out which is the best part, I suppose we could look for other sources.
Yeah. But I think for now, we can talk about that maybe at the end and see which pots we like the best.
We're discussing the second part of the Trial of a Time Lord, Mindwarp. Mindwarp was broadcast October 4th through October 25th, 1986, as parts 5 through 8 of the Trial of a Time Lord on BBC One. This was written by Philip Martin, who previously did Vengeance on Varos, uh, which this is, of course, the return of Syl, so that makes sense. He would write Syl again. Directed by Ron Jones, who also did Vengeance of Varos, and then a bunch of Fifth Doctor stories, including Black Orchid, Time Flight, Arc of Infinity, and Frontios. Produced by John Nathan Turner. Any behind the scenes things to chime
No,
in
nothing that
about?
I didn't watch the documentary for this episode, and I'm looking at TARDIS Wiki. There's nothing that's standing out to me that I'm like, ooh, except for of course the later on stuff when we talk about the ending, of course. Yeah, the only big thing is that just like the end stuff. And then I'm reading here that according to TARDIS Wiki, X Reid at one point said that this was his favorite of this season, as well as during this production of this episode is when Robert Holmes sadly passed away, which is crazy. Of like he died mid production of writing his episode. Like,
So Cam, then, what did you think of Mind Warp?
see, I if you have listened to our episode about Vengeance on Raros, you would already know that I am a bigger fan of that story than you are. Uh, and I never watched this story, surprisingly, even with me being a Vengeance on Raros fan. Even though I've listened to Mission of Magnus, the big finish Sill story. I did never watch Mindwarp. I think part of it was just like I knew I should watch Trial of a Time Lord as one story, so I shouldn't just watch Mindwarp, which is why I never watched Trial of Time Lord because like I knew I would just have to watch all of it, and then none of the libraries near me had that box set, so it's like and then, like, when I got to it, I don't really like this production-wise, this era of Doctor Who. Like, the actual, like, sets and costume designs, it's just like so it's something it's just, like, it's not appealing to me. Uh, but yeah, I would say the first episode was a bit rough for me, but as the story went on, I enjoyed it. I had fun with the story, which is kind of funny to say about a a Six Doctor story where it's like, "Hey, this was fun." Where a lot of the times the Six Doctor stories, you're like, "This is awful." Like, even this is like, thought this was good, like, this is not a fun watch. I feel like Mind Warp is a fun watch because I was laughing at multiple points of this episode, even though it gets into very dark places. It does have a sense of humor, especially if you find that how much they abuse Perry the story as hilarious, which it is kind of funny to me at least that she on her way out is being abused now. Poor Perry. But what did you think of it, Ben?
I think I had similar thoughts. I was a little bit skeptical of the first part, but I think as the story went on, I found myself enjoying it more and more. The doctor here is very obviously horrible. Poor personality, um, but the fact that this is like, they kinda repeatedly talk about it, like, "Something is not quite right here. Is this edited? Is this fabricated?" Um, I don't know. To me, this story, it feels like a examination of criticisms of the Doctor, this incarnation of the Doctor's, like, ego
Yeah.
and sometimes poor personality. Like, this is, like, intentionally over exaggerated. Like, the Doctor's not that bad of a guy.
Yeah, but it's the performance is because it's so over the top, it is hilarious at moments.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the moment I wanna say I got the most laughter out of me was the point where Perry is strapped and is being water tortured by the doctor, and she's just pleading for help, and the doctor's like, "You gotta tell me the secrets," and just scream at her, and she's just like, "Help me, please." I found that bit hilarious because it's so over the top, and you're just like,
Yes.
this poor woman. It's just like from Caves to Androzani on, she has not had a break.
No. Yeah, I'm reminded a little bit of the Invasion of Time of all things, where
Mm,
the Doctor in this story is an untrustworthy character. You're not really
yeah,
sure what is really going on. Is this a ploy? Is this a fabrication? Is he really just did he get his brains scrambled at the end of
yeah.
part 1, and that's
And
why he's
at the same
acting
time,
that
it's there's
way?
that element to the story where the doctor doesn't even know.
Yes.
And he's trying to defend himself on something he doesn't even know how he can defend.
And having the Doctor as a unreliable character is an interesting, uh,
And it doesn't
concept.
admit to anything at the end. It's still open, which we'll see if that gets answered later on this season. Because neither of us have watched Trial of the Time Lord to end full.
Open?
Like, how much of that, like, he was because
Oh,
like,
yeah.
how much of that is the doctor just being a fucking dick, and, like, or is he playing along? Did his mind get jogging, or is his mind like, how much of that was him playing along and trying to get into the sill, and how much of that was just him being fucking crazy?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's hard to know, but it does make for an enjoyable Colin Baker performance.
Yeah. I would say, though, my main thing about Mind Warp I wanna mention before we get too much into details is, like, This is one of those stories where I kinda just enjoyed it for the vibe and the hang of Mindwarp. Like, the plot of this story is pretty weak. Of like, "Oh, yeah, this thing happened, this thing" it's just kinda just like, I'm just kinda with these characters, just seeing where they're gonna go. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't care about the big picture of Mindwarp, you know?
You don't care about the test subjects that are being experimented on, mutating, eh, but, the characters are enjoyable.
Yeah, the characters because and then, like, I think one like, when you compare this to Vengeance and Rouse, which, of course, you have to have that, like, comparison. Vengeance Rouse has that interesting world where the world here is not anywhere as interesting as Veros. Like, there's no character as interesting as, like, the it was the president, right? If I remember correctly, or was it someone else? The
Like the
general
leader?
or
Yeah,
yeah, the
the
leader of
president.
yeah, it was the president. I my brain sometimes with names just kinda goes like out of my mind. But anyways, the president in that story is so interesting, and there's no character in this world that we are introduced to in the story that's as interesting as that character. Or like we don't get like the that couple in this story of like
Yeah,
of who is experiencing all this. It's just like when we are getting to like that rebel group, they just all die anyways later, so it doesn't really like
yeah.
change the story that much. And I don't really care about when they do die. I'm not like I'm heartbroken they dead. They're like okay, they died, I guess.
There are interesting characters here, though. I think one maybe to talk about first would be Syl, who
Yes,
is back. Not I mean, he's there throughout. He feels, like a less crucial piece of the puzzle than he was in
yeah,
Vengeance on Varos.
I would
Um,
agree.
compared to, Kiv and, like, the scientist guy. I mean,
Yeah.
he's there and he's creepy and evil, but, like, he doesn't really do much. But he does, especially when the doctor, whether feigning or for real, is, like, on Syl's side, they have some interesting chemistry.
Yes, I would agree. And his performance is still excellent. That actor.
A little bit different
Still does
costume.
an amazing job. Yeah, but it's nothing like it's I think it might be just a different paint job than costume, right?
Yeah, I mean, and it's more green than brown.
Yeah,
I think it is different because, like, the face, I feel like there's more face, maybe?
yeah.
It's a little bit less gross, maybe.
Yeah, it is he is less gross this episode, but that's also probably partly, like you said, he's not in it as much. Even
Yeah.
if he has the same amount of screen time, it's just like the way they use him in the story. It's just like this he's not highlighted as much as with Raras.
What about Kiv?
Kiv I don't know. I don't think I think that the actor of let me just get his name. The actor of Christopher Ryan does a good job, but it's just part of the problem is that you just can't replicate Nibel's performance as Civ. And he doesn't try to replicate that performance. He does something else, but it's just not as impacting because it's not as like gross as Syl is or as like effective in keeping you out.
I mean, yeah, we see 2 other Kiv and then this other guy who's sensitive hearing, who are, like, larger, full size,
Yeah.
and then I mean, kind of, but I mean, relatively normal. So Syl is just a little freak. I mean,
He's our little freak, Ben.
except for they all like mush minnows, I think it is,
Yeah.
that the doctor had. Would you try a mush minnow?
Probably not. I don't like fish.
Do you like mush?
I've never had it.
You can't tell me you've never had mush. We all have had mush. You had mush when you were 2.
Mm,
Baby food mush. Yeah, Kiv doesn't have quite the presence that Syl had in Vengeance on Varos, but still, is an interesting exploration into more of this species and this planet.
And Christopher Ryan, the actor, does do a good job in the role. It's just that you can't top that performance of Syl because he's just so unique. But I will say I do love Christopher Ryan's performance as General Stahl in the Sontaran two-parter in the 10th Doctor. Um I think he's like apart from that original guy that was a Sontaran, I think Kevin Lindsay, if I remember correctly. I think he is like the second best Sontaran. I really do love his performance as a Sontaran. I'm
Really?
very excited to see what you think of his performance as a Sontaran.
We will see. Let's talk about Perry.
Yes.
The big thing is she dies, but before
What?
then, throughout this episode, I mean, she is like having a miserable time. Um, but I feel like my thoughts from Mysterious Planet continue where I think she's much better here than
Yes.
she was last
I will agree
season.
with you.
Doing a good performance. I really love her scene at the beginning of part four, where she's talking about Earth and what love is with the barbarian guy.
No, it's just like it's that thing of like you like it's not she's no longer just a character that's like she's not like the damsel in distress every second just being whiny. She's less
Yes.
whiny these past two episodes. But especially in this episode where she's given a little bit more than she was given last episode.
Yeah, I mean, she has stuff to do because the doctor has betrayed her and she's on her
Yeah.
own.
And she is good. And then she dies in like a horrific way.
Yes.
But you know, she has a miserable time this episode, but she does find a guy that wants to make her a queen, Ben. Have you thought about that?
That happens almost every episode, though. And not the queen, but the like, ooh, you're so hot. I love you. Stay with me. And sometimes they're creepy and sometimes they're nice. Usually they're creepy.
Most I think 90% of the time they've been creepy. I actually don't remember the 10% where it wasn't.
Like there was. Like the I think she had a little thing with the president in Vengeance on Varos, didn't she? Am I imagining that?
I think you're imagining that, Ben. I
They
don't
haven't
remember
all been
any point.
rapists.
I don't
I don't think they've all been rapists.
but but no, she is good this story.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed her, and it's a shame that we didn't get to see more of where this character would have went. Because at this
Yeah.
point you're like, "Oh, I kind of enjoying Perry." And
It's
then
crazy.
she dies. And then like, "Do you wanna talk about the death now or later?"
In a moment. Um, yeah. I really feel like in this season she's evolved much more. She's more than just a girl who sometimes likes botany.
Yeah.
Did they mention it here? They may not have. But I don't think we mentioned it so far where two or three times just like, "Oh yeah, I'm a botanist. This plant, yes." Mm.
But it's also at the same time, like, let's not forget that she's like a college student.
Yeah.
She's never like, "Ah, god, I gotta go back to my, like, classes."
Yeah, this is her summer holiday.
Like, "Oh, doctor, don't forget." Like, and she visibly aged these past 3 years. Like, it's not like it's, like, subtle. Like, she's gonna come back from that summer break, and all her friends are gonna be like, "Whoa, what happened?" Especially, like, that gap between, like, what year and what no matter what year in college, you come back 3 years later, you're gonna be visibly like, "You look different."
Yeah. I mean, who's to say he would have returned her at the same point in time?
Yeah. But then, like, what's she gonna do then? Then she's gonna go back to college as, like, a 27-year-old?
It happens.
I guess, but, like
Be a Barbara Ian, what's 2 years situation?
yeah. But thankfully, Perry does not have to worry about that.
Yes. Instead, she uh is shot and or first, I suppose she dies before she's shot
Yeah. But
because
that's one of the things that makes this death even worse is that, like, all the other companion or, like or, like, just sacrifices or just ends of characters, there's a moment at least that they get to say goodbye to the Doctor, or there's at least an acknowledgement of, like, this is the last scene that we get with them. Here, it's literally just like, "Alright, we're gonna put you under. Alright, now she's down. Alright, now she swapped body minds, and Perry's dead now." Like they said, she just dies, and not even like an action or a word. She dies in a line of dialogue from another character.
Yes. And the doctor, he's running to save her, and he gets whisked away at the wrong time.
Those messy, dirty Time Lords.
It's a very tragic death. And then we see, as we catch up to the present, we see that the barbarian guy who loved her
Yeah, hey,
is.
hey, 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 hey. Put some respect to him, Ben.
I know his name because I see it on the wiki here. Have no confidence in pronouncing it.
But you could at least call him king. He is a king after all.
uh,
Just call him
King
from now on for the rest of this episode. He's King Barbarian.
King Barbarian, played by Brian Blessed.
Who I was gonna say this till we talk about him. Do you know who what else he has played, Ben?
Uh,
Don't look it up.
my father mentioned that he was in Flash Gordon.
But what else, Ben?
Don't
He
know.
was in well, all right, let me see if I do this, Ben, if we're gonna flash something in your mind, okay? Oh, nothing?
Nothing.
All right, let me give you a hint. He's in Star Wars.
Some random alien.
He's Boss Nass.
Oh,
How dare
Boss
you, Ben?
Nass. How could I forget Boss Nass?
I don't honestly, Ben, I do not know how you have forgotten Boss Nass. He's a very memorable character in the Phantom Menace. He's like the king of the Gungans.
Are the Gungans Wattos?
No,
Or no?
Ben. Ben, how are you not steeped in your Phantom Menace lore?
Believe it or not, no.
The Gungans are Jar Jar, so he's like the king of the race under the water.
Oh, is he like the king guy?
Yeah, he's like he's like where he has like spit coming out of him.
I'm remembering now. I was
The movie
imagining
literally
the
ends
pod
with him
racing.
holding the end of the movie is literally him holding an orb and screaming, "Ah!" He's a pretty essential character in Star Wars Phantom Menace. Let's not forget. Do you think George Lucas watched Mindwarp and was like, I want that guy in my Star Wars.
Maybe. Um, but yeah, he's caught in a time bubble or something,
Yeah.
and
Because of course, like the Time Lords are like they need to interfere because they came up with like the ability to swap minds and like this is above their like technology and
that's
like this
it's
is
too
gonna surpass
powerful
their evolution.
to unleash upon the universe. We need to shut it down.
Which all right, I don't understand how like yes, maybe this is where like the Time War comes into existence and like all that stuff, but like, all right, Time Lords, maybe like your name is the Time Lords, not like the Lords of like we're gonna keep the universe all safe and stuff. Like what are you to say that they can't have this technology? It's not like it's like oh they found this they got this because of some time rift ability. It's like no,
Yeah.
it just seems like they learned about this thing like
For the non-intervention um planet, they with between this and two doctors, they keep interfering.
yeah, but like at least with that, the two doctors, it's like it's because of a Time Lord they have to interfere. It's one of their own. With hair, it's like you guess you
Oh,
can
yeah,
maybe say
I guess there was a Time Lord in Two Doctors, that guy, I
you could say it's because of the doctor's interaction, but they would have done it without the doctor's help. It's not like the doctor helped them to get the technology.
yeah. But yeah, he goes in and he kills her. Kills I guess it's just not her anymore, it's Kiv in her body, but
Yes,
her mind dies and then her body.
yes. But of course, then spoilers. Skip a couple seconds. the tr we both don't know the full extent because we like I said, we haven't watched Full
Yeah.
Metal Alchemist,
I
but we
know
both have
this
gotten
is walked
spoiled.
back to some degree.
This is retcon as well as Big Finish does another retcon of this. So, she doesn't really die. But at least for 2 weeks, people thought not 2 weeks,
Well,
2
6
months that
weeks.
people were like, "Oh, Barry's dead." And this is traumatic. You would think this would have been the one that would have got the show canceled. It's like, little this is too much for little Timmy that's 6 years old watching this. Imagine watching this when you were 6 years old, Ben. That would have been terrifying.
Yeah. No, this is not a family show anymore for sure.
But this is the era of like, "Oh, we got to be s we gotta pull out punches. We gotta be safe." But yeah, to go back to King Barbarian, Ben,
Yes.
I enjoyed his performance this episode.
I was, like, not vibing it with him for a bit, and then I got on his level, and actually, this is the greatest character.
Like, I am similar with you where it took a couple that's why, again, I think the first part was like I think the story kinda get once that's the thing about Mindwarp. It's a story where you have to just get on its level. So it takes, like, 2 stories to get, like to be like, "Oh, this is the vibe?" And then once you're on the vibe, it's kind of
Yes.
enjoyable. And the King Barbarian character is kind of, a good example of that, of just, like, once you click in, it's like, "This is fun." Like, yeah, it's one of those times where the show's like, is this in the borderline between good and bad? Yes. But guess what? It's enjoyable, so I don't care.
And his friend Dorf, who's
Yeah,
a
who that's another thing where like a 6-year-old, that would be terrifying. This guy that's
yeah,
like half hound, half man.
who, like, Perry tries to, like, pet,
Yeah.
and his face is just eternally
And then he goes to King Barbarian, is like, kill me, kill me. He's like, you gotta die as a warrior in combat. And he's just over there being like, I want to die.
Jesus.
Yeah. Don't you love Eric Sayward?
He's something.
Eric Sayward does not care about those kids. You
Not at
can
all.
clearly tell. I might be wrong about this, but you can kind of clearly tell that I don't think he has had children. Like Tan Sticks, you watch the third Doctor era, you kind of like, I buy this guy has kids and is writing for his children.
Yeah,
Like Eric Sayward is writing for himself and wants to entertain moi.
yeah. This is not it feels like a completely different show from the fun action adventure, Bond stuff happening. How the show changes.
Yes, but that's always the thing about Doctor Who is that it can change the most out of any TV show basically, just because of the format.
How you feeling about the Sixth Doctor at this moment in time? I feel like the last couple stories, you're like, you know what? That was Colin Baker's best performance yet.
Here's my thing about the Sixth Doctor era, okay? And we're gonna get to this when we get to the retrospective, so I don't want
Yes.
to spoil too much of the retrospective. But I think at the end of the day, I would say that even though I don't really enjoy his era of the show and those stories of the show, I think I do prefer Colin Baker's Doctor to Peter Davison's Doctor, just because it's more in line with not in line with, but like when Colin Baker is good as the Doctor, I think he is more what I want out of the Doctor. Where Peter Davison, I think, never gets to those highs that Colin gets to go on of just like where I'm like, God, Colin's a great performer. Peter is just like, you're a really good actor, but like I don't know if you're he doesn't have that alien aspect or that gravitas aspect or the showmanship aspect that Colin Baker can just naturally have. He's a big he like again like the whole story is JNT casted him because of how good he was at like a wedding dinner.
Yeah.
And you buy that Colin Baker is a great dinner host of like he could do that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think you're probably right that he has higher highs. He probably has lower lows too. But
Yeah.
I was very skeptical, and I am finding myself enjoying him probably more than Peter.
Yeah. Even though I think Peter has better stories overall,
Yeah.
it's more consistent as a like, just as
Oh, yeah.
episodes wise.
This
Um,
I mean, this feels carried by characters more than plots.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, we'll talk about this more in a couple of
Yeah, yeah.
weeks, as well as when we do discuss his Big Finish work, which is very important when talking about Colin Baker.
Yeah, this definitely is unlike the last 5 Doctors, this is the first Doctor where there's a big gap to fill. 6,
Yeah,
7, and 8 feel naturally suited to having expanded media because there are
yeah.
big gaps.
Oh, yeah, 1000%.
Versus, yeah, this story happened, between Arc of Infinity and Frontios.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Or
much
no, the big one is all the stories that take place between, Planet of Fire and Kaiser Otozani, and then, of course, at the end of, Time Flight and Arc of Infinity, you're just like,
yeah.
so many stories happen between those 2, and you're just like, "That's ridiculous."
Yep.
Where here, it's like, even with Perry and Mel, it's like, you could imagine so many more stories with them that could have been off screen. Like, for instance, even this episode, they do refer to stuff that we didn't see. I think they've referred to stuff because they talked to Sil, and some of the stuff they talked to Sil about is not in uh Rangers on Varus.
No?
So I think that is them referring to Mission of Magnus, if I am not mistaken. I could be wrong, and they could be referring
The only
to
thing I
that.
remember is, like, they talked about her being a bird, which that's vengeance.
So maybe I am wrong. Maybe they're just talking about Vengeance on Varus.
There is at the very beginning, they're talking about an unseen adventure
Yeah,
where at the end of it, they have this weapon that, like, okay, let's follow the trail and figure out where this weapon came from.
yeah.
So between Mysterious
Also,
Planet and this, there was who
yeah.
knows how much.
And then also between Daleks and Mysterious Planet, there could have been so many stories.
Yeah.
As well as I just want to point out, when something we never talked about this story is that the opening of the story, I really loved the way that they did the map painting of the planets, and also like that pink filter they had on
Oh, yeah,
the
that was
Doctor
kinda
and Perry. I think
interesting.
I think that's one of the most interesting visuals of a planet that we have gotten for all of classic Doctor Who. All right, Ben, I do you think it's time for the segments?
Yeah. What's
There's nothing
the
really to say about like the trial stuff this episode. It's a lot of like,
yeah, more of the same. I find it
yeah,
enjoyable, probably some of the maybe actually, I don't know if it's the better stuff, but
yeah.
enjoyable, not distracting.
Yeah.
I
It
could
never takes you out of
see
the story,
yeah,
but never adds something too much to the story.
just more like, "This isn't right." "Well, no, doctor,
Yeah.
you only think that." Kinda stuff.
No, no. The big thing they always mention this one is like it can the Matrix can never be wrong, Doctor.
Yes. Which means it must be.
All right, Ben. What are we gonna see? Are we
Special
gonna do how
effects?
to improve? Oh, we can do special effects. I think best special effect would be the that planet stuff at the beginning.
Yeah.
Or Sale's just fact. Even though I don't think it's as good as Vengeance or Us, it's still pretty good.
Yeah,
The
I would
How
agree.
makeup, the How Man guy, it could be worse. You know, it's not the best, but it could be worse.
What guy?
Like the guy that's like half like a dog.
Oh, yeah. He looks werewolfy.
What's the worst special effect?
Oh, Perry's bald cap?
I don't mind the ball cap. I don't think the ball cap was that bad.
I mean, it's not horrendous. Doesn't look great.
Also, you have to take into account, Ben. She has a lot. She this
He's
season
got a
she
full
had a
head of
lot of hair.
hair. Yeah.
So like, I've seen worse ball. Honestly, the ball cap that fucking the ball cap that Bryan Cranston had in El Camino was worse than Perry's ball cap hair. See, like I think that's an advantage of this story is that I don't think it has a worse special effect. I do think that like I think part of the problem with Kiv is that the actor Christopher Ryan. I don't think he's a big man, but like he's not a little man like Neville. So it's just hard for him. I think a lot of times that his performance is much more like where with Sil, it's like a lot of the performance is like the body, like his body is so much of it. He's a much bigger actor, so like a lot of it's much more like it's just like the torso up. he doesn't have much leg action that he's able to move his tail. So I think that doesn't help his performance as that character. So maybe like his that makeup, but it's not bad makeup. I don't think the story has a bad special effect, to be honest. Except for I don't really like some of the cave stuff. Some of the cave stuff was was really just I hate classic Doctor Who cave stuff. It never looks good.
Now, how would you improve this story then?
Oh, this is one of those stories that's hard to say what to make it better because it's such a fucking it's a mess of a story that kind of does work.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know. Like, I think that I don't really know if you need the doctor lying stuff in the story, like and the unreliable narrator stuff. It's like I think I find it's like this story maybe would be work. I think there would be a little bit of it that would be kind of makes makes the death a little bit even more impactful if the doctor the whole time was whispering to Perry like I'm gonna get you out of this. I'm gonna get you out of this, while then having to pretend to her that like that she's trash and has to play along with it. And then at the end of the day, his result of having Perry trust him gets her killed. Would I think it had more of an impact than what we had the story of like, well, she doesn't fucking know if the doctor is crazy or not, and
Yeah.
she just then dies. Also, my one of my big things about the death of Perry is that like give us at least one scene where the doctor is able to be with her. She doesn't even get to say a goodbye to the sixth doctor or anything. They have no good final scene together.
Yeah, the only I feel like moment where they're like they're together and working together. Like he has like one whisper when she's chained up on the rocks, and then he goes back to maybe yeah, a little bit more of that so it feels like more of a betrayal
Yeah.
than he's just fucking crazy and I don't know why.
And they just keep on reiterating that and making Perry be like, "Okay, I'm gonna go with the doctor. I'm gonna go with the doctor," and then the fate of it actually happens, and the doctor feels so guilty from it. And then that would be interesting with the trial stuff because then the guilt of Perry's death could impact his decision. He might feel responsible for it, so that he feels like maybe he should be put on. He should be have to deal with the consequences of the trial. You know.
Instead of having it be just like, no, this didn't happen, you're lying.
Yeah, as well as like a part of this is like, oh, we plucked you out, and now you're not totally responsible for this at all because you could have maybe saved her, but we plucked you out, so we're kind of at fault here
Yeah.
too.
I mean, it definitely enforces that the council here is and the Valyard are the villains
Yeah,
potentially. Cliffhangers? 1. The doctor is hooked up to Crozier's equipment to be used to extract the truth from him. He screams in agony as they begin. 2. King Barbarian attacks the doctor. It is your turn to die. 3. Perry and the rebels are attacked, potentially killed. It's unclear at the time. And then in the trial room, the doctor yells in disbelief that he's not responsible for that. And the Valyard says, in your mind, perhaps not, but in reality, it is somewhat different, Doctor. And then 4, Perry is killed on order of the High Council. The Doctor exclaims, I was taken out of time for another reason, and I have every intention of finding out what it is. What is the best? One?
probably one. But I don't think any of them this episode was that great.
Nah.
It was they didn't have a standout cliffhanger.
One thing that I thought was silly with the first one is like they grab the doctor and they strap him down, and Perry is just kind of standing there,
Yeah,
not yelling or doing anything, just kind of standing there.
poor Nicola Bryant, not given anything to do.
So, Cam, how would you rate Mind Warp?
Oh god, this is a hard one. Sometimes these episodes it's really easy to rank, and sometimes they're difficult. This is definitely one that's more difficult because I'm like, ah, I enjoyed it honestly, but I don't think it's great. So I'm gonna go 7.5, which might be a little bit too high, but I
That
enjoyed
is
for what it is. To
really
be
high.
honest,
That makes it your number 3 story.
like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go maybe like. I think it's gonna be my number 3 regardless, but I think I'll do 7.3. I won't go as high, but 7.3 I think sounds a little bit more sane to me. Something about like a little bit off.
Let's see. Do I like this more? I like it more than Mysterious Planet. Do I like it more or less than the Two Doctors? I definitely enjoyed this story. If there's no Patrick Troughton, though,
But it doesn't have any of the bad it doesn't I don't think it nearly goes as bad as some of the bad in Two Doctors.
I'll do 7.1
Okay.
for an average rating of a 7.2. And then the polls as
Yeah. NA. It doesn't
NA.
matter. Doctor
I
Magazine,
think it's 4 of 8.
get your stuff together for the next time we do this. Like, come on,
Get your house
let's
in
just
order.
settle that they are separate episodes. They have names, they have different books, they have different writers, different directors. They're not just one whole story. Come on.
I mean, it is connected, but it is 4 different stories. I feel that way at the moment. We are talking about the third story of The Trial of a Time Lord, Terror of the Vervoids. But Cam, Terror
Yes.
of the Vervoids was
Yes.
broadcast November 1st through November 22nd, 1986 on BBC One. This was written by Pip and Jane Baker, the husband and wife team who previously did Mark of the Rani.
Mm.
They're back a season later. This was directed by Chris Clow. I'm gonna guess that's how you pronounce it. Who will also direct Ultimate Foe, Delta and the Bannerman, Dragonfire, Happiness Patrol, and Silver Nemesis. So a lot of stuff going forward, but this is his first.
Mm.
Produced by John Nathan Turner. Any other behind the scenes things of note?
Not really. I did This is one of those episodes where I did not have time to watch the behind the scenes documentary, so I don't have too much to say. Um, of course, the big thing here is that it's Bonnie Langford's first episode.
I'm just quickly looking at on the TARDIS wiki. There's a note here. Eric Sayward was astounded at the casting of Bonnie Langford as Mel. But Cam, what did you think of Terror of the Vervoids?
So just like all of Trial of a Time Lord, I have never seen Tour of the Vervoids. Yeah, I found the story to be very much like this is a very average of the road meh Doctor Who story. There's nothing really special with Terror of the Vervoids. We get the introduction of Mel, and Mel's fine. Mel's just
Mhm.
like an average companion at the end of the day right now. Uh and it's like, it's not like the worst thing in the world, but there's nothing special with Terror of the Vervoids. It's just it's here is Doctor Who and goodbye. That's all it is. It's not reinventing the wheel at all. And especially like we're talking about this is season 23, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah, this is
Correct.
23. So it's like the show needs to do something more than this if we're on the 23rd season. This feels like a story that you could have seen Patrick Troughton in a lot of the stuff in this story. And it wouldn't really change it that much.
I can totally picture Pat and Jamie running around on this space station or a ship
Yeah.
in black and white very easily.
And when you're dealing with that was 20 years ago, that's not a good sign.
uh
What did you think of it?
yeah, it was very whatever. That's fine. It's not offensively bad. The Vervoids are completely uninteresting. There starts to be like this like mystery, like, oh, who is it? But it doesn't. I don't ever really get invested. The most interesting thing here, uh, and also the least interesting thing here, is probably Mel. This is her first story, but it's not really an introduction. This is a future projection.
Yeah.
We
Which all right.
don't know
All right,
how she
I
got
don't get
here.
I don't get that part of the story. Can we talk about that now?
Sure.
How the fuck does the doctor know about this? because he knows about it. He pulls it up for evidence. He's like, "Oh, remember, I would pull up my future self," and they pull the story up. It's like,
Well,
how?
the doctor, he keeps pausing it and is like, "Wait a minute, this is not how I remember it." He said he, like, reviewed the footage earlier, so there was probably like, "Alright, timeout. Here's this matrix that exists outside of time with my whole timeline. Let me look through it and see what's a good one to make, like, my case."
Yeah.
So, and you pick this, "Yep, let me look through it. Yep, that's good. Alright, let me broadcast it for ya, Inquisitor." So he probably had some time to just look at the Matrix and find something good. Mel is here, and I don't know who she is. She's just a girl who screams.
But boy, can she scream.
Sure. And that, if it was 1967, that would be fantastic in a companion. However,
Yes.
it is 1986, and I want a little bit more from our leading lady than "She's got a good scream."
Do they mention at all that she's like a computer programmer at all in this story?
I think they mention offhand she's a programmer. I might have just our knowledge absorbed from a TARDIS wiki. Actually, I can look at the transcript right here. They mentioned she's got a photographic memory a few times.
Because that's the thing about Mel is that she is like supposed to be extremely smart, right? But you don't really get that in the story of just like she's just like a very average Doctor Who companion that
Yeah.
screams a lot.
I mean, I will give her, she's not like a damsel in distress. She's like, I mean, some of this is like being, manipulated footage where the doctor's like, I'm good. You go ahead, Mel." Um, but she is like doing stuff on her own, which is
Yeah.
always good to see in a companion who isn't just like, "What's that, doctor?"
I would say that like a lot of times like we've been talking about, a lot of the times when Doctor Who makes a change, it's a reactionary change. And I
Yeah,
definitely think that Mel is another reactionary change from Perry.
yeah,
That Perry is much more for the dads. Like they I think they try to do that with Perry. But with Mel, it's less of that. It's much more for Mel Bush definitely feels much more like a companion for children, if that makes sense. She's much more innocent and much
yeah. She
more like
seems, I've seen like literally photos of her. She had until I watched this story,
yeah,
just photos. I hadn't heard her. She, yeah, she seems younger than I imagined she was. Like
yeah.
a very high pitched voice, very like youthful. I could see her, yeah, working for children per se.
Perry they did sexualize in some ways with just what Perry was wearing. But and also in the stories itself, every fucking guy was creepy on Perry.
Yes.
Um but Mel's not they're not doing that with Mel, you know?
No. The only kind of little bit of like, I don't know, the problem is of having her first story be your regular old everyday Doctor Who story is we don't get to see like who she really is.
Hey, no, hey, why? What do we get to find out about her from a literal opening? Is that guess what? She cares about the doctor. Two, she loves fitness, and three, she loves couches.
I
like,
guess. I
and I do find it. I think that her and Colin do have a good back and forth in that opening scene of just and Colin is good when he says like carrot juice. Like it's a good counter to like bratty Sixth Doctor the season prior that now he's getting like abused on this like motorcycle like this what do you call it like this exercise cycle
like an
and having to
elliptical.
drink carrot juice and arguing with Mel
Yeah.
that like but my eyes are perfect and she's like drink up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little less abusive. I still feel like her character archetype is not perfectly suited to be alongside 6.
No, no.
And
But
maybe
again,
she'll be better with 7, but
but again, the whole thing with that is that you're gonna find out in a couple of weeks from now when we talk about Big Finish of like the only thing that can really contradict a Colin Baker Sixth Doctor is this old woman professor that can tell him where to shove it,
yeah, I
and a
feel
talking
like
penguin. Like you you need you need
he
those
needs
type of
someone,
companions for the
yeah,
Sixth Doctor.
who can take, uh, his abuse and dish out some of their own, like
Yeah,
a cranky old woman or something like that,
or a talking penguin.
or a talking penguin. Why not? Um, but at the end of the day, we got what we got.
Hmm.
I don't dislike her, but I can't say that I've grown attached to her.
I think it's important to talk about the bigger context here that she is a big star. Not I shouldn't maybe the big is
Is she
too much, but she is a well-known actor and like a performer in Britain.
prior to this?
Prior to this, as well as after this, this is why they brought her back. It wasn't because everyone loved Mel; it was because people know who Bonnie Langford is.
I feel like,
Maybe not everybody, maybe just people that are over 50, like Russell T Davies. Like,
yeah. Spoiler, I have watched the next story,
yeah,
and I feel like we need to get back to, like, the Sarah Jane kinda companion period, but also having having the doctors and companions, like, overlap their tenures a little bit better. Like,
yeah,
when Colin's gone and we have a new doctor, like, I'm not gonna say, "Yeah, there's Mel, who I know and I love, and now we're introducing this new character." It's gonna be a new character and someone else also don't care about yet.
yeah,
We had the similar, I mean, Perry kinda dodged that because Cade's Evanderzani was so fucking good,
yeah.
but, like, having, it was a mostly similar thing with, like, Nissa and Adric and Tegan.
Hmm.
But Sarah Jane, where like, okay, we love her in 11, season 11, and now we get Tom, new doctor, but we still like Sarah. So even
Yeah,
if we don't love Tom right away, we have something we can fall back on to want
yeah,
to continue watching. Or even like the Brigadier is
yeah.
in season 7. Like yeah, I like the Brigadier.
But then the big one is Rose, that we stay with Rose when Nine regenerates into
Yeah.
10, and that's, like, the next thing that happens, and then we get that with Clara too, but I think it's less successful with Clara because Clara is similar, where it's like we only have half a season with Clara, and then he gets to be changed to Peter Capaldi. Spoilers.
I think that's a good format that's underutilized.
Yeah, but I also do like it, like, when a companion and a doctor but I do like a new companion, new doctor at the same time, where it's like, okay, we're getting introduced to it acts like a reboot of the show, where it's like this is a jumping on point for everybody, where it's like this is the doctor is now doesn't know who he is, and he's meeting this new companion. I think it's probably doesn't help that like you haven't seen 11th Hour yet. 11th Hour is the one that I'm thinking of. That's like that shows that it works so well. That's the first one with Matt Smith and Karen Gillan as Amy Pond. Like that one is like it's perfect. So it's like
I mean, yeah, maybe that'll work too. It's just like having this weird little
yeah.
tale in the season before where we get a new companion but the same doctor. It feels weird to
This one
me.
it's hard because it's not like Peter. It's not like Jonathan. It's just it's not like John Nathan Turner knew when he cast
True,
Mel
true.
that Colin was only going to have 6 episodes with Mel, and then he would have to go and fire him.
Yeah. I guess that is true. I did see that before that whole um snafu happened, they were planning on having, because it's in the future, a Mel introduction story at some point with Colin. Eric Sayward or someone has said in an interview like, "Oh yeah, we were planning on that." Whether or not that's
Yeah.
true is a different story, but
I assume it's a Big Finish. It must be. Big Finish must have covered it.
um I out of curiosity, I Googled it. I think there's like a book. Yeah, I don't know which it is, but there's like a book that is
Mm,
like the doctor, of course, because of time travel, already knows her, but like this is Mel's first
mm.
meeting with the doctor.
But yeah, like to go back to Terror of the Vervoids as a whole,
Yeah, we have barely touched on it, I feel like, other than Mel.
it's but that's part of the issue with Terror of the Vervoids is that it's just not an interesting story to talk about even. Like it's just it's very much like Pip and Jane Baker got like, all right, this is what a Doctor Who episode should be like, and decided to make an episode that's very similar to that.
Yeah.
There's nothing really exciting or there's not a new twist on the format here with Terror of the Vervoids. It's just very much here's a Doctor Who episode.
Yeah. Do you like it better than their last outing?
Like a little bit just because I didn't care at all for the last one, but like I don't think it's like that much better.
I'm realizing now we're gonna get a lot of them because they finished the
Yeah.
Ultimate Foe after Robert Holmes passes, and then they also write Time in the Rani.
Yeah, and that's also they that's before even Andrew Cotmel, the next script editor, is hired on as script editor. They write that script.
So we can look forward to more of them.
Yeah.
Their writing style.
For some reason, John Nathan Turner was like, these guys are reliable.
Yeah.
I can trust them to, to come out with a script. But I guess like he just has that bad he put himself in a bad spot just because it's like Eric Saber, of course, like we'll talk about more next episode that Eric Saber has a big falling out. So that it's like you're not gonna go to the Philip Martin, I think is the guy that wrote the 2 Seal episodes. You're not gonna go to him of like to start your new doctor out or to fix the series. It's like and then like last episode, like, even last season, it's like you're not gonna go to the guy that wrote Time Lash.
Yeah, we're running out of good writers.
And then like the main one literally was just passed. So it's just like he put himself in a hard choose. But that's why we needed somebody like an Andrew Cotman to come in that was able to bring in new blood to the writers room. Not writers room, but just the scripts. Just like what the show needs now.
Where's Terrence Dix when you need him?
Yeah, no, he's too busy. At this point, I think he's too busy writing Target novels.
What do you think of the design of the Vervoids?
Like,
Slash, what
it's
do you
not
think of them in general?
like the design of them. It's like there's definitely sexual imagery when it comes to Vervoids.
A little bit.
Uh, like I know it's
I mean,
supposed
it's
to be a
just like a
plant,
flower. Like if
but again,
what is that like?
there is flowers and and the human body. There's imagery that they share both, if you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
So like I might just be a little bit of a pervert brain, but that's all I'm seeing when I see the real voice.
You might just be
And it's like
pervert brain.
it's not badly designed per se. Definitely they are somewhat of an iconic design monster. Like I would say, like of course, like I think I've mentioned this before. Of like what tells you if it's a good Doctor Who monster is that if it would make a good toy. And the Vervoids would make a good toy, even though I think parents would be a little bit scared by what the toy looks like.
I think they should have
Um,
integrated the mouse a little bit better. Having just like
yeah,
the mask move a little bit like this doesn't look good.
yeah.
It's kind of a
But
cheap looking thing in general, I would say.
I don't think it looks that cheap compared to some other masks and stuff we have
I
in
mean,
classic Doctor
it could always be worse. You're right.
Who. I would say, you know what? Let's talk about this with the Terror of the Vervoids, right? I would say I was never. I felt like this was the first time in the trial this season where when we cut back to the trial stuff, I don't think it really added that much to the story. I
I
wasn't
mean,
like, oh, what's happening with the trial stuff? trial stuff wasn't really the story itself wasn't interesting, and the trial stuff did not help at all.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the trial room rhetoric of like, "No, this has been tampered with." It's getting a little bit old.
Yeah,
Like
most definitely.
that's what they've been saying every episode for the last 10 episodes. Like,
Yeah,
we get it. The Matrix is just fucked.
yeah,
Um, there is I'm assuming you watched the broadcast version, right? There
yeah.
is like a in the new collection box set a version of this that has the trial room parts removed
Interesting.
to be a little bit more cohesive. It's like a special edition or whatever. I wonder what that experience would be like. I will say I think the first part of this was okay. And then it kind of dropped off quickly.
Yeah,
Like having
but
Mel's
like that's a lot of
introduction and
yeah.
then like a little bit of like Colin Baker narration, setting the stage was kind of nice, kind of neat, but then it falls off very quickly. But how was Colin this
Yeah.
episode?
He's fine.
This
Um,
isn't his best performance yet, like you said
no,
last
it's not.
time,
It's not his best
I think.
performance yet, but also like I've grown to like him this season. I think this season he's much better than he was last season. I think them tampering down the cockiness of the Sixth Doctor does work.
Yeah.
I still think that Colin Baker was rightfully casted in the role. I think he does have that Doctor energy to him. I just if he was given a good script, I think he could be a great Doctor, which Big Finish proves.
Yes. Is that it?
Yeah, basically,
I
how to make
mean,
the story better. Just want to get to that.
yeah, yeah.
What it would make Terror of the Vervoids better?
I feel like the Vervoids, they need to be like scarier. They're just kind of green guys who
They need to
strangle
have
you.
more of a presence in the story itself, you
Yeah,
know?
they're not in it till like halfway through.
And like even when they're in it, it's not like I'm not like I look at them like, oh my god, I'm so scared that they're on the screen right now. It's like there's no tension there when you see the Vervoids. They should have a weight to them, you know?
And how they're ultimately dispatched with is very underwhelming.
Yeah.
They're just like, "Oh, throw down this thing and there's gas and it accelerates their aging or something and they just die." And
Yeah.
I don't know.
Honestly, this story, just make it be more routine Doctor Who. Make it be a base under siege and really lean into that the Vervoids are taking over this spaceship and like we're closing down the base one by one. They're taking over the people, and it's like really make this
Yeah,
like
give it
be
more
like
like
a
Ark in Space vibes.
yeah, but also like have it be like tension that like, oh my god, we lost this part of the base, not base, but we lost this part of the spaceship. Now we have to move on to this stuff, and we have to lock it down. And oh, they're getting past the vault. Like, give us like some momentum here. Burial of the Vervoids is lacking any type of
Yeah.
momentum.
I think the story Pip and Jane Baker wanted to tell was like a detective, like
Yeah,
there's all these cast of characters and oh, which one is killing these people? Is it this mysterious detective? Is it the captain? Who could it be? And
yeah.
no one is very interesting. Um,
No, that's the problem with something like
and there's
that.
like twists
Yeah,
that don't really make do anything for me. Like oh, this is actually like a coup and we're taking over the ship, and it's like
yeah.
a completely separate thing than what's happening with the Vervoids. Is I don't know. Feels like there's too many moving parts.
But like to make those murder mystery stories work, you really need a vivid cast of characters that you really care about
Ooh,
and that you really despise some, you love some, and then like there's twists and turns in the story, like the Knives Out movies, right? Those movies have
yeah.
such like every character, you know, every character in those movies, and you know, like oh, they're gonna do this or that's gonna do that, and the whole time you're thinking, who did it? That's this. Taylor Railways have none of that with the side characters.
Even if this was more like a robot story, that would have been
Yeah,
better.
Yeah, yeah,
where having like an interesting cast of characters fighting against together this alien presence. I don't know. More allusions to off-screen adventures where the captain already knows the doctor and he's like, "Ah,
yeah.
you again? What bullshit are you gonna cause?" Which really that's just a reason for the doctor to be trusted at all in this scenario and not a stowaway or a hijacker or anything. He's like, "Oh, I know you are the doctor and you're a good guy and you're gonna help us no
Yeah.
matter what." Ugh. Special effects.
Awesome. Special effects. What's the best one my special effect? Best special effect, Ben? I'm gonna say it. It's Buddy Langford scream.
I would have said uh the part 2 cliffhanger, that
Yeah,
woman who has like the vines on her that are like pulsing.
I would agree.
That's kind of legitimately horrific. Actually, I'm literally remembering now that they're a thing. Uh oh, here's something I want to talk about. There is, who are those guys? Who are those guys? The Megarians,
Mm,
uh, who have like those masks.
yeah,
They're part of the coup, but that doesn't matter. They're kind of neat. First thing, I like their design. Um, Second thing, they have a translator thing, which seems to conflict with the fact that up until now everybody speaks English because the TARDIS. Um,
yeah,
but setting that aside, I hate that, like, there there's, what I'm talking about probably is one of them is an imposter and he doesn't use the translator. And I said, "Oh, so that's something noteworthy. That's going to come back later." And
yeah.
a minute later, we're back in the trial room and he's like, "In case you didn't see it, let me run it back for you. Look, you see that? Here's exactly what that means." And I'm a big fan of detective stories.
Yeah,
Like, and the best detective stories are ones where you, the viewer or reader or whatever, have a chance to figure it out before the detective does.
yeah,
And that scene kind of robs us of any critical
yeah.
thinking that could be happening. It's just all spelled out before it's even relevant, before it even needs to be spelled out at the end. Like,
Mhm.
just immediate, here's what that means. Okay, and now he's dead.
Wow, so you tell me Jane and Pip, Baker does not trust their audience.
No. I mean, their audience is children, so I
Yeah,
understand the desire to do that, but
yeah.
it kind of hurts the pacing. It
Mhm.
hurts the tension. Eh,
I do also wanna point out something that we did not talk about before we get on to, worst special effect is, Colin has a new costume this episode.
I
Did you
mean,
notice?
oh, is it? Or is it just catching up with his trial costume?
So it's like he has like a new waistcoat as well as a new like bandana or Ashcroft, whatever you call it. It's now like he has like a yellow Ashcroft, whatever, scarf, whatever he has on his.
Oh, and it's like a purpley vest.
Yeah, it's more purple and pink. I don't
Still
like it.
that damn coat.
I like I like the other one better. I don't think this one looks. I like his season 21 look and or sorry, season 22 look. I guess it's also season 21, but season 22 look or the even like the first half with like the red
Like,
polka dot one.
yeah.
I like better than this one.
Have the blue, the red, and now I guess it's past, present, and future.
Yeah.
Slightly tweaked for each time. Eh.
But what's the worst effect, Ben?
Uh, Other than the Vervoids,
Yeah, I really can't think of anything off the top of my head except for maybe the spaceship stuff
Oh, I totally
of the actual spaceship.
I barely remember this episode. It just kind of flew by. Good special effect. Black hole. I thought that actually looked kind of cool.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess the black hole stuff does look cool. It's just the spaceship itself I don't think looks
Yeah,
particularly good.
but having like this like almost kaleidoscopic swirls, it was
Yeah.
kind of neat looking.
Cliffhangers, man.
Yeah. Um, Number one, Mel goes to investigate the hydroponic center and meets a guard who escorts her in, who ends up electrocuted, and Mel screams.
That's the first Mel scream. Let's go. We did it. We made it to Mel scream.
Just you wait, because number two is the doctor and Mel enter the isolation room to find a half plant woman, face covered in pulsing vines, and Mel screams again. Three, the doctor explains to Lasky that her companion Bruchner is piloting the ship into a black hole. Oh no! And then, four, back in the trial, the Valyard states that the charges have changed now to one of genocide because he killed all the Vervoids.
Dun dun dun.
What's he gonna do now?
Best one's this Pachu, right?
Yeah, definitely. So, Cam, how would you rate Terror of the Vervoids?
I just want to point out before we get to our rankings and ratings, I always like to point out, like, oh yeah, this is Russell C Davies' favorite episode. This is Chris Chibnall's favorite episode. This is Moffat's favorite episode. Uh, Famously, Ben, I'm going to send you the link to it now on YouTube. If you look up Chris Chibnall on Open Air 1986, there's a teenage Chris Chibnall went on TV to talk about how much he did not like this season of Doctor Who. In it, he talks to Jane and Pip Baker, and he mentions, "Do you think that Terror of the Vervoids was just a very general, basic, like non like imaginative episode of Doctor Who?" He literally asked him that point blank.
Interesting.
It's crazy, and also has been used so much in the fandom just to be like, "Wow, wow, Chris, this is kind of similar to what you this the complaint your complaints is kind of similar to your scripts."
But how would you rate Terror of the Vervoids?
uh it's actually kind of hard for me because it's not like I hated this story, but it's not like I loved it or liked it even. Like you mentioned to me previously, it's like, do I like it more than Mark of the Rani? And like, I like it a little bit more than Mark of the Rani. Do I like it more than Two Doctors? I prefer the Two Doctors. Do I like it more than the Mysterious Planet? That's hard.
I think
That's
it's
very hard.
I think it's the worst this season.
Yeah, I think it is too, but I don't think it's that off from Mysterious Planet. So I'm gonna go 5.6. Like it's they're both in the general ballpark, I would say, of episodes mediocreness.
Let's see.
But I think that I prefer at least some of the stuff in the Mysterious Planet more than to what was this episode.
Uh, go 5.3 for an average rating of 5.45. And
Join us next
polls,
week. Oh yeah,
it's
polls.
it's 8 of 8,
Oh yeah,
or no, it's like 4 of 8 or something. I don't know. Doctor Who magazine, it treats all the trial like it's just one story.
yeah.
Uh,
Stop that, Doctor Magazine.
Stop it.
All right, Ben. Join us next week. The Ultimate Foe. The end of the Trial of Time Lords. Ends of Colin Baker.
Oh boy.
I know you're gonna miss him, Ben.
Well, a little bit. Yeah. I'm feeling we'll talk about it next story. We're discussing the final Sixth Doctor story and the final part of the trial of a Time Lord, the Ultimate Foe. Let's just jump into it. The Ultimate Foe was broadcast November 29th through December 6th, 1986 on BBC One. This was written by a couple people. I don't know how clear cut this is.
So I'll tell you the behind the scenes
But
stuff. So behind the
yeah,
scenes, Rise, Robert Holmes writes the first episode, episode 13. He is the plan was for him to write the first 4 and the last 2, which makes sense that you have like, all right, let's get our best writer to write the beginning and ending of this story. He dies halfway through production. At the same time, Eric Sayward and Robert Holmes are having a debate on there's something in this Robert Holmes script. I don't know if it's the cliffhanger for part 1 or if it's something else that's going to be in part 2 that Johnny the Turner does not like. It's too violent and is why he believes it's why the show was canceled. So he wants it cut. X Sayward is like, I want to have it be in like the artist's intent. I am the writer here.
according to the wiki, Eric Saberd wanted to end it on a cliffhanger, leaving the battle between the Doctor and the Valeyard unresolved, and James T said no.
Yeah. But it was gonna be too violent. Was the main thing.
Yeah.
And also that it was also going to be basically disrupts Eric Sayward's vision. So they have a falling out. Eric Sayward's like, all right, I'm leaving. At the same time, you can't use what I'm writing for that second part as well as the Robert Holmes outline. So he calls Pip and Jane Baker, who wrote the previous story, Terror of the Vervoids, and says, hey, I need you to read this script. I need you to come up with the second half of the script and have it to my desk by Friday. And we're going to shoot it next week. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Spoilers, but I can tell.
Yeah. But honestly, that second part, it's not the best second half of a Doctor Who story, but when you consider everything that was involved, it's
Yeah.
a miracle. It's one of those things where it's like when you know the behind the scenes things, it's a miracle that this story even happened to begin with.
Yeah. Didn't go the way of Shada. Um,
Ah, that would be awful that this whole Child of a Time Lord ends with Terror of the Vervoids, and then at the same time, Colin Baker is fired to the next episode. Mid-trial, he, like, bumps his head and regenerates into Sylvester McCoy.
yeah, well, so we'll talk more about that. This was directed by Chris Clow, who just directed Terror of the Vervoids and will go on to direct a few more Seventh Doctor stories, produced by Jane T.
And then this is the last, just like what I was saying before, this is the last story for Eric Saber because
Yes.
they had that big filling out. Also, let's be honest, it kind of was his time. I don't think it was going to be right for him to continue on script editor. I think that his vision for the show has reached its end at Trial of a Time Lord. That it's like the show needs something new and something fresh at this point.
When did uh when did Eric Saban start?
Earthshock.
Urshock. That's right. Because he wrote the visitation and it's like, okay, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
Be the
And then he
script
writes
editor.
Earthshock and it's like, you're really good. Here you go.
So it's been a bit.
Yeah.
Probably due for fresh blood.
Not probably. It's due.
Yeah,
Do you want more of this type of Doctor Who, Ben? Or do you want something new at this point?
I want something new. So Cam, what did you think of the ultimate foe?
I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but like I think the first pilot's actually pretty good, all things considered. It is a Robert Holmes written episode, and you can tell that like the quality of the writing has improved since Terror of the Vervoids. And it's like, okay, I'm interested in see where this is going. We got the big reveal that the Valiant is somewhere between the last and the 12th and final regeneration, which of course doesn't really mean anything nowadays. Um, and then uh, and then we go into the Matrix, and the Matrix stuff is fun. But then, of course, the, the Pip and Jane Baker come in. They have to salvage this script, and the second half, it's like it's fine. It's not like the worst thing in the world, but it's very like it's a lot. There's a lot of ideas there where it's like it's very convoluted where it's not confusing, but it's just there's a lot of things going on, and then like you could have cut so much from this and just made it be like it needed to be a little bit more simple. 'Cause, like and then, like, when we get to the whole bombs, like, it all revolves around, like, the doctor has to dearm this bomb. It's like, "Is this really how we're gonna end this?"
Mm.
And then the master comes for some reason. It's like, what did you think of it, Ben?
I pretty much agree. It's kind of frustrating because there's stuff here that really works for me, like the Matrix stuff in the first part,
Yeah.
where like he's in this dark Victorian town with children's voice, just super great stuff. And the trial stuff is great. Robin
But
Holmes
I would
dialogue,
also say,
just
before we move on from that, it's just like, I love, like, the characters also they meet in the Matrix in, like, the Victorian setting
yeah.
of, like, that stuff is
It's
also great.
taken some of my favorite parts of a Deadly Assassin, and we're getting more of that.
Yeah.
That like surreal imagery. Um, and then there's also stuff that just does not work, like Popelwick. Like the last like 5 minutes of part two is just like it's all about the procedure, and it's just
Yeah.
like I do not care for Popelwick, and the fact that Popelwick was the Valyard the whole time
But, like, it works in the
doesn't.
first part. It works in the first part. It's the second part where it
Yeah,
falls apart.
it. I wasn't exactly sure like if there was overlaps, because like I like the bit with the Valyard at the beginning of the second part,
Yes, that
but I
is
don't
very
like the
good.
Popelwick stuff at the end of the first part.
No.
So I wasn't sure if it was more nebulous. So some really great stuff and some really not great stuff.
Yeah.
And if Robert Holmes didn't tragically pass, I think we could have had something really great.
Oh, yeah.
All the elements were there.
As well as if we could have got the second half of the story of his outline
Yeah,
and
that's
some of
kind
the
of
stuff that he maybe
frustrating.
wrote.
And Eric Sayward, if could have pulled it off, I think he could have wrapped it up better than
Yeah, he's much more similar to Robert Holmes than
at
Pip and
least
Jane
just
Baker.
vibe wise. Yeah,
Pip and Jane Baker is not writing, like, Kids Ramajazani, right?
no, I guess I like it at the end of the day, but it could have been so much more.
Yeah. It's not a really satisfying conclusion to Trial of a Time Lord.
Having the whole thing being the Valyard was trying to blow up the High Council with a bomb. That was everything building up to that. Whatever, man. I guess sure.
It's so just like it's very that's definitely a Pip and Jane Baker thing of just like it's just like why could it just not been the doctor just hates himself and just that's just his hatred for himself just putting himself on trial like that would have been so much interesting
The
but then like
Valyard as a concept, really
yeah
great and interesting.
like
So
there's a
many
reason why
implications.
after all these years people still want the Valiant to come back.
I mean, he's gotta, right? I wasn't exactly certain if like, is he like number 20 because the 13 doesn't matter anymore, and one of his incarnations he will just regenerate into the Valyard at some point,
Yeah.
or is this like a separate like entity, like a clone, or like somehow he's a byproduct.
I'm thinking
Could
it's
be
more
by generation. I don't know,
I
because he
think it's
seems
more
to
like
be
a
a separate
byproduct.
entity,
Yeah. I think it's
but
more
that
of
is
a
also still the
byproduct
Doctor.
of just like, yeah, it's similar, but it's not the actual doctor himself. It's just the physical manifestation of the evil parts of the
Yeah,
doctor.
because otherwise,
Um
wouldn't stealing Colin's future regenerations jeopardize his own existence?
and also like there was one part that really aggravated me about that where it's just like the doctor when he's DMing the bomb is like, well, if you would do it, I should be able to do it. I'm like, yeah, but this is from like the 12th and final regeneration. It's like that's hundreds and thousands of years. Like, he could have done something that you just don't know, doctor, so why are you saying that line?
Yeah, such a missed opportunity. I do hope the Valiant comes back though. But yeah, the part 14, part 2, whatever you wanna call it, I
Yeah.
feel like boils down this amazing concept Robert Holmes came up with just to an evil guy who wants to blow up the High Council because he's evil.
Yeah. And you could imagine a version of that part too, where it's like it is still keeps that surreal elements, and they are fighting on the Matrix, and we don't get it just like it's the bomb ending. It's more just like it's more that the Doctor defeats him in the Matrix, and then because he defeats him in the Matrix, and the Matrix reveals that all the things that was a lie, and then he's no longer on trial, and it's that he he leaves. That's all the story needed to be, but instead they're like, what about there's the bomb and also there's this B plot with the master that so does not need to be there?
I like the idea, in theory, of the Master, when it happens a couple times, the Master teaming up with a Doctor for an even greater foe, like
Yeah.
Barusa or stuff like having Sherlock Holmes and Moriarty team up is just cool. But what ends up happening is just the Master's just on a Zoom call, and then also he orders Glitz a bit, and nothing. He doesn't really have much of an impact other than uh, exposition. So in again, it's another thing. In theory, if this was expanded on, it continued, that could have been really cool. But nothing really comes of it. That's kind of the thesis of this.
Yeah. But also it's kind of one of those stories where it's just kind of doomed to fail at the end of the day because it is a two-part story trying to resolve this arc which doesn't really have that much of a story throughout. So it has to be this big payoff and it only has two parts to do it. This and should have probably been three or four parts to be honest.
Yeah, you could have cut Terror of the Vervoids down to 3 easy. With the reduced episode count, I suppose your options are limited at this
Yeah.
point. We're down to just 14. He does get the part 2 is extra long.
Yeah.
It's 30 minutes instead of 25. Interesting that in part 1, Glitz is, I wouldn't call him a companion, but he's like the guy who follows the Doctor around.
Yeah.
And then he fucks off with the Master in part 2, and now Mel's here. I mean, Mel was there in part 1, but she didn't really do anything. I wonder, is Mel a Pippin Jane original? Did they create her?
I don't think so. I think that would probably be more Alex Saber that's creating her and guiding her creation.
She's here. What do you think of the continuing adventures of Mel?
She's fine. I don't hate Mel. She doesn't scream, I don't think, at all this episode. So that's something.
I have about the same level of attachment as I did at the end of Terror of the Vervoids, where she's here, she's fine.
She's a stock
She
companion.
self-describes herself as boring, and I mean, yeah,
I'm not gonna fight you.
I'm not gonna fight you.
There is a moment that I think was kind of interesting when the doctor is inside the matrix and the Mel inside the matrix is on trial against the doctor and lies, but then also says at the same time that she knows about that the doctor is put up for genocide of the Vervoids. And then the doctor and Mel meet later on, and then he tells her that, like, "Well, Mel, I know that you wouldn't know that information." I thought that was kind of interesting because I did also at that exact moment, I was thinking to myself, "How the fuck does Mel know about them being on trial for genocide? She wasn't there for that bit." So I was like, "Okay, thank you, Pip and Jane, for at least knowing that." But all that stuff is where I'm like, "This is so convoluted. This does not have to be this like crazy."
Yeah,
Like and again with the master, I wish it was just I wish the master in the story was just kept to that little bit where he's on the TV and just interrupts the trial for a bit and then he fucks off.
I think it's funny when he tries to hypnotize Glitz, and it just doesn't work at all.
Yeah, that was funny. But yeah, it's a really mixed bag, but the Matrix some of the Matrix stuff is really good and Pip and Jane Baker still don't really know how to write a Doctor Who script. That's the end of the day with Ultimate Foe. So bad
Yeah.
cliffhanger though. Is there anything else to talk about with Ultimate Foe? It's part of the problem. is that, like, it is such a short story to talk about, but, like and it is so convoluted, but also at the same time, it is so simple.
What do you think of his last words being carrot juice?
Well, no, it's not carrot juice, it's carrot juice, carrot juice, carrot juice.
Yes.
It's 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 kinda funny that's how Colin Baker goes out, you know? He is good at that. He is good at playing, like, the annoyed, "Carrot juice, carrot juice." She's, like,
Yeah.
throwing them with the exercise bike. It's like, "Oh god."
Mel seems to take this whole thing in stride, I feel like. She's, like, really unfazed by being taken out of time and the Gallifreyans, and, well, I guess I'm going with this you and not the you I was with.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm still confused about, like, where is like, are we supposed to are we supposed to believe that this leads into Vervoids?
I think no, Vervoids is, like, the far future. At the end of Vervoids, she
But
gets
that's the far
taken
future, so how
back.
much is he to talk about carrot juice with the Sixth Doctor?
I mean, for her, she was just talking about carrot juice, and now Mel, I think,
Because
is
she, yeah,
just
experienced Vervoids. So, yeah, so, like, again, this is
it's
where
just fucked. That is just
this
fucked.
story is very convoluted for no fucking reason.
Yes. Well, I guess we can start doing the things.
The bits,
Special effects?
special effects. Best special effect is when they reuse the special effect of, like, the opening shot, but instead it's, like, those 2 capsules that Mel
I mean, yeah, I
and Glitz
listen.
are on.
I guess, yeah.
But again, then also, like, I do like the cliffhanger of, like, the hands coming out of the bed and then, like, then Colin going out of bed. I like that.
I don't think it looked good.
And
What
then, like,
about
I
when he comes
the
out and it's, like, reversed footage of him rising and mouthing backwards?
Yeah.
Bad joke.
I do also I do like that little bit, like, I think they do a good job of, like, the when the Valiant is just jumping back and forth in that conversation. That stuff is all great.
Yeah, it was not perfect, but pretty close to seamless.
Yeah.
It was effective. For every time I see, like, the DVD box and, like, on Letterboxd and the limited amount of photos, there's always emphasis on the hands in the barrel,
Yeah.
but that's, like, one little bit that isn't really a big part of it. I thought it would be a bigger part.
Yeah. So, yeah, then, worst special effect, the just the I just hate the bomb in general. Like, it's not even a special it's not even the special effect is bad, it's just I just don't like the idea of the bomb, so I'm gonna say this bad special effect is
Yeah.
the bomb.
I didn't like I looked this up, and I think this happened the last Master story. His TARDIS is really boring
Yeah.
because it's just they painted it black, and they just took the same console prop. It's not even a black console.
Yeah.
It looks really unimpressive. I miss the TARDIS room from of all things. Remember the Master's TARDIS in Colony in Space? That uh Joe gets like trapped in a tube.
Yeah. How to make this story better, not have Robert Holmes die halfway through production. Like
That probably is the best case scenario. They should do a lost story of Eric Sayward's version,
yeah,
because that probably he has Robert Holmes notes. That was probably closer. Yeah, needs to be no bomb. Tighten it
no
up.
bomb. It should have
Less.
just been the doc it should have been the Doctor vs. Valiant in the Matrix for 20 minutes
Yeah,
and have 5-minute wrap up.
he should have had the wrestling like Deadly Assassin.
Yeah.
That honestly would have been better. Now that I say that jokingly,
Uh,
they're just grappling, trying to drown each other.
but you could have had so much fun of just going different locations and different things and weird shit happening just like in Deadly Assassin. But instead it's like, no, we gotta worry about this bomb and then we have to worry about the master and like just cut the master out of that second half and like honestly, get rid of Glitz pretty quickly in that second pot, and just get him out of the Matrix, just to have it be the Doctor Meliad.
Yeah. Well, cliffhangers?
Yes, cliffhangers.
I mean, the end of the last part is kind of a cliffhanger, kind of.
Eh, yeah,
I'll mention it.
okay.
So the first one, the doctor is being pulled into the muck by many hands, and he screams, "No!" And then maybe you disagree, but two, the Valyard survived and is impersonating the keeper of the Matrix.
Dun, 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 as well as catches.
Carrot juice, carrot juice, carrot juice. So Cam, how would you rate the ultimate foe?
Even though it's not the best, I think it is the best of the season, which isn't saying much.
Better than Mindwarp?
Yeah. I'm going to go 7.5. Might be a
There's
little bit
bits
too
where
high.
this is a 9, and there's bits where this is like a 5.
Yeah. Which is why I'm giving it 7.5. It's in the middle.
I'm gonna give it a 7.3 for an average rating of 7.4. Let me do some math real quick to see average rating
Math.
for this season. All right. So season 23, aka The Trial of a Time Lord. You gave it an average rating of 6.55, and I
Mhm.
gave it an average rating of 6.425, with an average between us of 6.49, which puts us as worse than season 22. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. I think as a whole, because it doesn't have, at least the previous season had, I like Attack of the Cybermen. Vengeance and Rest, I really love, and then I really like Revelation of the Daleks. I don't like any of the stories as good as at least Mark of the Rani or Revelation of the Daleks this season.
I guess the first question, talking about the season as a whole, is this one story or is this four stories?
It's 4 stories, man. We've been discussing this whole time. It's no does make no sense why Doctor Magazine considers it one story. It's very is much 4 different stories.
It's more interconnected than I was expecting going in. Like, this is much more closely connected, like stories stringing into each other than, say, The Key to Time. I think it succeeds as an arc better than The Key to Time did.
But also, like, if we're really gonna consider this a season, they really should consider Keys of Time a whole season, you know? It's similar.
I think having the framing story is what could I'm not saying I do, it is
Yeah.
definitely 4 stories, but having this framing story of the trial room that we keep cutting back to, um, makes it be more connected than this is just a series of adventures of the Doctor.
Yeah.
So, and this was you hadn't seen any of these stories previously?
No, I've not, just because it was always that thing of just like, I knew that it did interlock, so I knew I had to watch all of them. I also
Yes.
knew that none of them were as, like, highly regarded, so I never really watched it until now, and I gotta say, like, it wasn't like, I don't feel like it was something I was really missing, you know? Like, I always was curious about the Valiad, but, like we just mentioned, it's like the Valiad was never really used to its full potential, which is why I think all the fandom, not I think I said all the fandom, but I think that's why some of the fandom is so intrigued about the possibility of more Valiad, just because there is potential there for more stories, especially now that the Doctor has gotten more darker and the new series. It's like, okay, where does the Valiad fit in there?
Maybe Billy Piper is the Valyard.
Oh my god, you cracked it.
I cracked it. That's it.
I don't know why the Valiad is smiling right when they regenerate, but
Hopefully in 7 it'll be, like, 5 months maybe at this point when this comes out. Hopefully, we'll find out.
there's still a bit of in the back of my brain that's like, I don't even know if this Christmas special is happening, Ben. We have heard nothing about it.
How much of a gap of knowledge for Joy to the World was there, as an example? Like, that came out Christmas. Did we have screenshots in September? or
No,
was
but
it
we had
last minute?
they shot it way in advance, so we had, like, a picture of them filming it, like, a year beforehand.
So, yeah, and who knows if they've even started filming.
We know they haven't started filming. There's some people that's like, they also are all inside, and it's like, that's cope. That's cope, you know?
Maybe it's just Mel and Billy in the TARDIS.
No, but see, that's the problem is that, like, Billie Piper is gonna be on Wednesday, season 3, in the fall, so it's like, I don't know when they're gonna be shooting this show. And I don't know if you know this, CGI takes more than, like, 2 months to do. Unless, like you said, it's all gonna be in the TARDIS, and it's gonna be like a CGI light episode. It's gonna be sad when they have to tear down that beautiful TARDIS set now that it's not gonna be longer with Bad Wolf, I am assuming.
You're a big fan of the 14-15 TARDIS?
It's I have I'm mixed on it. I like it more than Jodie's. I hated Jodie's. Like, I like it more that it actually looks like a console instead of, like, whatever crystal thing they were thinking of with Jodie's. That was just horrendous. Um, my big problem with it, though, is that it's not 360, and I like even though the scale-wise, it's better that they can do the crane shots, but the crane shots also make it look smaller. So it's like the room feels grander and bigger when they do have a ton of sets that's 360 that they could shoot in any direction, that it feels like an actual space instead of
Oh, is it like
if
an
they
open
always have to
wall
shoot it. Yeah,
situation?
because they have to because it's so tall, you have to, like, use a crane to shoot up, like, big shots of it. But again, like, that's the problem with sometimes with production is, like, sometimes when you make something so big on TV, it feels smaller. I think that taught it. The 14-15 taught us is a good example of that.
But that's getting ahead of ourselves. Are you itching to stick the season 23 Blu-ray back in? Or is it
No,
gonna
no, I'm
be
not.
many years?
This is gonna be many years. It's gonna collect a lot of dust. I don't think there's a single episode here that I'm gonna revisit anytime soon.
Such a shame.
Will you?
Probably not. It's a
Like,
shame that Colin Baker doesn't go out with a bang.
yeah,
Um, we'll talk more about Colin Baker as a whole. Let's save it for the retrospective.
yes, which will be in 2 weeks from now. So look forward to
Yes.
that, dear listener over here. Join us next week for more Doctor Who. Peace out, everyone.
Have a wonderful rest of your day.